Hey guys, so we created our compositions, and that means that we got a bunch of pictures together and or pieces of paper, and we took a bunch of different pictures and we were thoughtful about arranging them and creating something interesting that we could build our entire project on. Today is the first day you should really be working. If you're in Drawing and Painting 2, you can do this just with pencil and keep it all black and white if you want. That is the requirement for the assignment. If you want to add color, that's just an extra thing you can do. You do not have to do it. If you are in Drawing and Painting 2, though, you must do this in colored pencil or acrylic paint. If you have an alternative you want to ask me about, please feel free to just send me a message and I will respond. So I created my composition using some old photographs of my grandfather, who I'm named after, from World War I. He was shot in the face, and they did reconstructive surgery, and they took pictures using World War I technology of what it looked like to try and fix his face where he'd gotten shot. I took those and I crumpled some of them and I tore some of them, and I even printed out some of the backs with the different dates on them, and I put some thread out there and a key, and that's what I used to create my composition. So first things first, I need to get my picture, and I actually printed it so that I could physically have it in front of me, and my paper, which should be 11 by 14 paper. If you want to use something alternative, again, reach out to me. Anything bigger than this, I do not recommend colored pencil. And my materials. So I have a mechanical pencil for little fine details. I don't want to draw the whole thing in mechanical pencil because it'll be too slow and laborious to fill all this in. I've got my ebony for super dark, super quick filling. It's a soft pencil. I've got a backup mechanical pencil in case I have a problem with this one. I've got a medium soft here. I think this is a 4B to do a lot of like the work. And I've got a blending stomp to help me smooth out areas and blend them. You could use a Q-tip for this. That would probably work better than the twisted paper I showed you last time. And I've got a lot of erasers. Now, you probably don't have the same erasers I have, but I have a lot of erasers. So I'm going to use this for my big bulk erasing. I'm going to use this or this for my general, this is a pen. So for my general stick erasing. And then I've got these two fine erasers. And these are really great if you really want to get into drawing. They're both called Mono Zero by Tombow. And one has a really small round eraser tip. And they've all got this metal collar because you only want a little bit of eraser to show. Otherwise it breaks off. You could even see the shape kind of gets messed up. Although when it gets messed up like this little tip makes it even finer to erase. And then this one's got this hard rectangular eraser that allows me to kind of like really erase down in a shape and really control it. And this metal collar keeps the eraser really stiff and strong so that it can do its job. It's kind of they're really nice. They're expensive, so I'm sure most of you don't have one or won't have one. But if you want to have an ultimate eraser, that's something to consider buying. When I did my crumpled paper, I did not, this was the only one I used here. So you don't need those super fine erasers to do what you're doing. So if I am in Drawing and Painting 2, I might just start laying this out with a pencil, thinking about the halfway mark on the picture, what lines up, thinking about the halfway mark in the center, what lines up, building things like that. Thinking about the thirds, so I could use that to help me understand how this photograph's laid out, so I could start building. Thinking about these negative space triangles, like this one here. These will help us get all these angles right. Thinking about the negative space is super important. It'll help us get the uniqueness of the shapes and everything like that. So I would start building like that. Very light, possibly even with the mechanical pencil at this point, but with a very light touch. I can't really do a video with a light touch because it'll show almost nothing of the drawing. I'm going to actually do mine in color, and I think what I want to do is put this kind of off-white color on the whole paper. And I have gray paper that I could have used, but I want to just show you how I might use acrylic to tone this paper to make it that kind of like yellow antique white color. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to start laying this out in pencil, and then I'm going to start going in with maybe some acrylic paint to kind of build it up from there. If you guys are going to kind of just build with pencil, so just remember, sometimes when I draw something, and I'll make this the back, so I might kind of like come in here and draw this. I want to really observe how the white paper here is not shown with a line. It's shown with dark shading here up to the photograph. And here's another piece of paper just juts out here. Look at this. So I will use this to even further exaggerate this idea. A medium tone here, and the light shadow here. And sometimes for that light shadow, just drawing with the colored pencils is all you need. And I might actually cheat it and push the darkness where it's close right there anyway. So I'm going to come in here, blend down the blue of the tablecloth, blend down the light of the antique white in shadow here. And you can see it kind of fades out, and then there's like more of a harder line as it gets closer. The shadow, as it gets closer to the object, usually will get darker and crisper. And as it gets out here, it might really just kind of like lighten up and fade out. Okay? So to push this difference a little, add a little more color in the blue. Trying to keep the pigment from getting incised or inscribed into the paper. So I'm just going to use really light, gentle marks. Controlling the distance from my hand to the paper so that the pen can't make a lot of strong marks. So you can see how this is the blue of the tablecloth. This is the dark black in the picture. This is the white that's the border. And then this is the shadow on the paper. Okay, so you guys can build like that with lights and darks. You could even, like when I start getting into the face, probably not the right place for the face, but I could even draw just with the blending stomp and lay in some of my preliminary stuff just by drawing with the blending stomp. It'll help me have some less committal control, and even then, if I make a mistake, it erases fairly easily. You know, sometimes I erase in lines too. Like, so if I wanted to lighten this up, I might erase it in lines, almost the way I use cross-hatching with drawing, but using cross-hatching with the eraser is also effective. I did it in my drawing of the paper, and I just did a little bit of it here. So that's how I would build this whole thing. Try and get everything in place before you get into the detail, because if I get focused in on the detail here, and then I realize this thing is in the wrong place, it's too short or something, I'm going to have to either stretch all this out or just have it end too soon, and I'm going to just have empty space up there. So I took the time to compose this, so now I'm going to take the time to lay it all out to match the composition before I get into detail and rendering. Okay? All right. You guys need to go work on this. I'm going to stay on the meat. And anyone who needs some feedback, just unmute and ask me, and we'll go from there. Okay? Wait, I almost forgot. If you're in Drawing and Painting 2 and you're doing black and white, you may want to convert your picture to black and white. It may help you better understand the values in your work. Also, at the end of class, I'm expecting to see about 60 minutes worth of work, and you're going to take a picture of that and turn it in. We're not trying to finish this today. We will be working on this for several days before it's required to be turned in.